time for the ride home in ENC.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is your 5 o'clock drive with Patrick Johnson.
Holy mackerel!
More news, more interviews, more ECU stories than you can shake a stick at. Hey, stop shaking that stick. This is the Patrick Johnson Show.
Pirates win! Pirates win!
On 94.3 The Game.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome. Patrick Johnson Show on this Get You to the Weekend Friday. Glad to have you along. Nice for you to be with us here. Hey, we've got an outstanding show today, and we're very excited. In a matter of minutes, we're going to welcome the Chancellor at East Carolina University. Dr. Philip Rogers will be our guest, and we'll talk about all the things going on with college athletics now. As you know, he is the chair of the board of directors of the American Conference, and also sits on one of the major boards, the D1 board with the NCAA. So all of that is coming your way here today. Dom Kasulki is back for another day. Philip Pilkington is out and will be so through the early part of next week. Good to see you, Dom.
Good to see you.
And we got a top 5 at 5, so let's go ahead and jump in ahead of having the Chancellor with us here on the show today. But
right.
Here it is for you right now, our top 5 at 5.
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's impossible.
Now some stories you may have heard
Ready?
or catch it for the first time. This is your 5 at 5 with the P-Man.
Number one.
All right, there's new sound clips, number ones and everything, getting used to everything. Let's go number one. All the talk has been on the QB competition as of late for ECU, but the running back room is very competitive with multiple good running backs. Here's Blake Harrell on that running back room.
Yeah, that a deep room in that position. I talked a lot about DeJuan Lacey and Michael Allen, but the two that kind of stand out to me is Ashton Gray and TJ Engelman. I think they both had some good scrimmages, some good practices, and they're both battle tested. You know, TJ played for us a lot late in the season, ran the ball hard, does a good job of ball security for the most part, and then Ashton Gray did a really good job in the bowl game. So they've had carries under fire. They know what it takes to win in this league and understand our offense too.
You know, Ashton Gray, I think, is going to be the real superstar potentially of this group, breakout of this group, could do a lot of different things. The other thing I think, excuse me, that they want to do with this offense, this year's version will be a little more run-predicated, run-heavy. And as a result of that, I think that Griffiths not only understands the offense, but is more mobile of the two quarterbacks. So that's an element that you can introduce into the fray here. Going to Alabama, you're going to go in as an underdog, probably a multi-touchdown underdog. And that's not to say that ECU can't go there and play well. It's not to say ECU could go there and, as everybody likes to say, shock the world. But in order to keep that thing to where you give yourself the best shot, you need to be able to run the football a week from tomorrow in Tuscaloosa. You better be able to run the rock, because if you cannot, it will be a long day at the office in Alabama next week. Also, I think it comes down to how the offensive line plays. We had a cut yesterday, but it was Griffiths talking about the offensive line. Maybe do we have one on Blake Harrell on the offensive line?
Don't, but I can play the Griffiths one again. I can get
no, that's fine. Okay. That's fine. I didn't know if we had one where Blake talked about it. You know, that group's got some experience along it. They just haven't played together. So yeah, I think I'm not worried about the defense, Dom. I don't know about you. I mean, I
feel like I never am with these ECU teams.
I think I'm pretty confident that the defense is going to do enough things to kind of make life difficult next week, and really on the opponents through the first part of the schedule. It all comes down to health. It all comes down to, particularly next week, can you run the football? And you have to feel good about the group. It would have been great to have had Marlon Gunn back. Just to have an extra veteran body, a guy that could be maybe a steadying voice in the room. But that position group is probably the deepest one for ECU.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping that Michael Allen would be a big factor in the running back room as well.
And he
but
may be.
He did have a hamstring injury, so
Yeah.
he might be later in the season. I don't think he's really going to get a big role in this Alabama game. You never know. Maybe he'll crack open a run, and then he'll be the lead back the rest of that game. I have no idea what to expect in this game. And you said maybe a multi-touchdown underdog. I mean, that's a definite. We're going to be in the 20s, maybe 30s. I'm not sure where they're leaning, but I'd like the offensive line to play well enough for the running backs to get going, and then both of those will be the core to help Mitch Griffiths get a feel for the game and really feel like the number one guy.
Got to be able to run the ball. The Michael Allen thing's great. You're right. Also does have has been a little nicked up, but Allen is a guy that, at least from a been around the block standpoint, can lend a little bit of a calming influence on that group. All right, it's our top 5 at 5. We've got 1 down, 4 to go. What do we got next?
Number 2.
All right, a Dallas judge signed an order Thursday that prohibits the NCAA, the SEC, and its commissioner Greg Sankey from stopping a group of athletes, 3 of whom are currently listed on NFL rosters, from returning to college sports for one more season of play. That's a Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Jordan Hudson, Chiefs linebacker Wesley, I'm not going to butcher that name, and Chiefs wide receiver Omari Evans are among the 41 players that are listed on that restraining order. The order specifically says that the NCAA, SEC, and Sankey cannot block the player's return based on transfer portal rules or their time on a pro roster.
Well, we knew this was coming. We'll talk to Philip Rogers. I don't know specifically about this situation, although I think the thing to talk to him about will be, depending on how sound is his understanding that the legal side of this is, because this challenges it. The SEC a couple days ago, in doing what they've done, put out their decision saying that we think we're on firm legal footing. Now, this is a 2-week temporary restraining order, and it prevents, as you said, specifically the NCAA, who is not, I don't believe, sounded off on any of this, but the SEC has and been quite vocal about it at the top, and that includes its commissioner, Greg Sankey. And Sankey is specifically named from enforcing the rules that would keep, as you said, over 40 players from returning. The SEC all along has made the statement that they believe they are on solid legal footing because it doesn't, as they put it, impact the play. Their punishments in this decision to not let the players play, their punishments are punitive against institutions and against head coaches. So it doesn't harm the player, as they put it. That's their whole legal argument. This is all obviously blown up because of LSU and Lane Kiffin. I guess today on the Clay and Buck show, which is heard on our sister station, Talk 103.7, John Kennedy, who is the colorful senator from Louisiana, and they asked him about Lane Kiffin, and he said, and I'm not going to do a John Kennedy impression here, but he said, he can go hit on Kristi Noem's husband in a dark cocktail lounge. We don't care as long as he wins, but he better wins. I mean, I was talking to Igo about this briefly today, and I haven't really vetted it out, given everything else that's kind of been going on. But this just seems like, of all the insanity that college athletics has allowed to take place over the last several years, this is the hill they're dying on. And it's a 1-year thing at most. Now, maybe they feel like it's a slippery slope. You let it happen this year, it'll happen in the future. But it's a 1-year deal with these class of 22 guys. And that's what the 3 are that you mentioned, with Hudson, Evans, and Besaint, I believe is that how that is pronounced, for the linebacker. Don't go to Vegas on that one, though, but I believe that's how it's pronounced.
I believe you. I'll take whatever I'll take your word for it.
But, I mean, look, the SEC, half-season coach suspensions, fines equal 50% of the school's annual budget for that sport, loss of conference voting rights, additional sanctions that would be imposed. The NFL has its own rule. The league says a player who leaves the NFL and returns to college cannot come back to the NFL during the 2026 season, and that would he would instead become eligible as a free agent in 2027. That's the NFL rule on this. So the judge order, the Dallas judge order lasts 14 days. Another hearing is scheduled for September 11th. So this is not even the final ruling, just another twist and turn in this insanity. Again, more on this whole situation, not specifically what we're talking about here, but just the overall with these conferences coming out and the American, what they plan to do, coming up in a few minutes when we talk to the commissioner, or excuse me, the Chancellor of East Carolina University, Philip Rogers. All right, next.
Number three.
All right, number 3, football is coming tomorrow. Week 0, UNC and TCU get football started at noon with TCU the 9.5-point favorites. TCU demolished UNC last season 48-14. So Bill Belichick and the Heels are looking for revenge. And another North Carolina team with the Wolfpack at 3:30 against Virginia in an ACC clash to start the year. CJ Bailey returns for another season as the state quarterback, in Virginia is rolling with Bo Pribula from Missouri.
The Wolfies are getting a lot of love because they've got a pretty pedestrian schedule. They do have their quarterback back, and he is good. But they have Dave Doran coaching them. And Dave Doran's eventually this year going to do Dave Doran things.
Fair enough.
This game, by the way, was supposed to be played in Brazil, if you remember, the Wolfies and the Wahoos. But instead it gets moved to Charlottesville when all the pig farmers decided, I don't want to go to Brazil in August.
Yep.
And I can't say I would blame them necessarily. It seems like kind of a strange time to go there. Could you guys, Dom, you may have said it, what's the spread on State Virginia? Right?
That's +4 in favor of Virginia's the -4 favorite.
So Virginia's a 4-point favorite.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that.
Taking NC State.
Remember last year at this time, wasn't it precious? Everybody was talking about the 33rd NFL team in Chapel Hill, and Chapel Bill was back, and you had all the Hair Jordan nonsense, and TCU came. Remember that first drive, how happy they were? They were so excited in Chapel Hill, the People's Republic of Chapel Hill. They were so excited because on that first drive, the Tar Heels looked really, really strong.
They did. They had a nice scripted drive up. Good job, Bill.
And then TCU beat their brains in after that. And it really was the precursor of everything to come.
Yeah, the full season was not good.
So tomorrow, this is all week 0. San Jose State, USC, so Lincoln Riley. That'll be a 3 o'clock kick. That state game is at 3:30. North Dakota State is a touchdown favorite. At least they were earlier today in their first ever FBS game against Jacksonville State.
Yep.
Eastern Michigan hosts Sacramento State tomorrow. Sacramento State is the one that joined some conference. Maybe they joined one of the FBS conferences. But it's an East Coast conference. So they're flying. All of their games are practically in a different time zone, except for the ones they'll play at home in conference. Hawaii and Stanford, and I think that's on the ACC network tomorrow. Your mileage may vary if you can find it. Nothing screams ACC football like the trees and the bows.
They joined the MAC.
They did join the MAC. Thank you for that. Florida State tomorrow night against New Mexico State. We'll see UCF tomorrow against Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman volleyball playing East Carolina volleyball tonight, by the way, in Greenville. Memphis, out in Vegas, UNLV. Be interesting to see how Memphis looks. Wake Forest, well, all that's getting into September 3rd. And that UCF-BCU game is Thursday the 3rd. So really the late game tomorrow is Memphis. Look, a good kind of wet your whistle, little appetizer. Any of those games, I guess Memphis, just from the standpoint of the ECU, we're interested to see how Memphis plays tomorrow night.
Like to see that, and then obviously the 2 Carolina games, they're just local enough to where you're probably cheering against them if you're here. And
I think we'd also are a little anxious to see how North Dakota State does after all that success at the FCS level, how they do moving up to the FBS ranks. And they are eligible for a bowl this year. That rule has changed.
Okay, rules
are to move up. You become bowl eligible or postseason eligible.
Changing all over the place.
Yeah. All right, we've got the Chancellor of East Carolina University, Philip Rogers, coming up here on the Patrick Johnson Show. Wrapping up our top 5 at 5 with our next one, number 4.
Number 4.
More football. This is FCS, though, from last night. And we had one game in particular that was very interesting, a triple overtime game between Ohio Dominican and Morehead State. Morehead State would score 22 points in the fourth to force overtime. Then neither team scored in the first overtime. You go into the second, both teams score 6. And in the third overtime, Ohio Dominican took the win after converting their 2-point conversion. Morehead State did not. So that was a win in the books for Ohio Dominican.
They are as you say, D2 team. That's the invoke thing. Everybody says, oh, well, the FBS plays the FCS schools, which I don't mind. It is a little ridiculous when the SEC does it the next to the last weekend of the regular season. But, I mean, early season, I don't mind that at all. I think it's kind of interesting. It gives maybe a little bit of regional spice. I mean, there was a time App State was FCS and came and played in Greenville, and it was kind of a fun game. That'll be the Pirates' home opener this year, of course, and App has since moved up. But a D2 knocking off the D1. And that team, I believe, last year, Dom, was 500, that D2 team. Here's some other notes from last night. First of all, shout out to our guy, Doug Martin, OC with Elon. And they knocked off the mighty Pioneers of Glenville State last night, 42-7. So there you go. Already, Coach Martin's got the offense in midseason form. Northwestern State in the FCS was beaten by an NAIA school, Louisiana Christian, last night. You mentioned the Ohio Dominican beating Morehead State in triple overtime. Here's some other interesting ones. West Florida. I think a lot of people were hammering West Florida last night. 19.5 dog. They beat 16th ranked Southern Illinois in the FCS standings 34-31. Houston Christian came in a 24.5 point underdog. Went on the road and beat 19th ranked Southern Louisiana 34-28. And then Central Arkansas on the road beat 22nd ranked UT Martin 36-24. Exciting stuff. You know what? All this, it's talking season. That's already football season, but it's all this chitter, all this chit chat and jibber jabber means nothing.
Yeah.
When the ball kicks off, it all changes.
Yeah, that's fun though. It's fun to have some takes about it and see where your head's at. See if you become correct or you look dumb on air, and it's there forever.
All right, we got to get cranking here. Last one. What do you got? Number 5.
Number 5, right?
Very quickly, Connor Norby on a 12-game hit streak for the Rockies, had a grand slam 2 days ago, over a 950 OPS since joining the Rockies. He has been hot ever since getting traded from the Marlins.
Yeah, leaves the Fighting Fish. I think started in AAA in Colorado, but it's quickly on the big roster, and you got a couple of Pirates on that team there. Good for Connor Norby. Exciting stuff. Hopefully he can continue it going. And right now the Rockies, at least with Norby, appear to be the winner of that trade if you just talk about individual performance. All right, a break. And when we come back, we're going to have a great special guest with us here. It will be the Chancellor of ECU, Philip Rogers, rejoins us here on the Patrick Johnson Show in a noteworthy time in college athletics.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville, do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Grimes Built Construction is currently building homes in Pitt and Beaufort County, and they're always looking for land to start new neighborhoods. Grimes Built Construction is a custom home builder, but also builds beautiful spec homes in all price ranges. These aren't cookie-cutter homes. A Grimes-built home has great design, character, and the extra detail you desire.
This is Chad Grimes with Grimes Built Construction. If you're in the market for a new home or if you have land for sale, give me a call, 252-717-1418.
This is a standard hole belt. You can get it at any fashion brand, department store, or Amazon. They can be nice, look good, even sometimes expensive. The downside, they're only limited to 5 holes. Not to mention these holes wear out in less than a year. So this is an Anson belt, micro-adjustable holeless belt. Instead of 5 holes 1 inch apart, we have 30 plus options spaced a 1/4 inch apart, giving you the perfect fit every time. Slide your belt through, click, click, click. That's the sound of a perfect fit. Check us out at ansonbelt.com.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's cut in color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, Newbern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Remember, get the podcast of the show on the IBX Media app or where you get your podcasts.
I listen on my Apple Watch. Smart speaker. Listen while you work.
I listen everywhere. The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Chancellor of East Carolina University, Dr. Philip Rogers, joins us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. What a treat. Great to talk to you, Chancellor Rogers, and welcome back to the program.
Patrick, great to be back with you. Always an honor to engage in conversation about ECU and, of course, college sports. There's a lot happening in this space, and looking forward to the dialogue.
We had requested to have you on a little while ago, and, of course, you know, it has to accommodate your schedule. And, boy, so much has happened since then. Let's start with maybe the news of the day. And these pros returning to or attempting to return to college athletics. I saw just this morning that the Mountain West has now joined this. SEC, Big Ten, ACC, Big 12, SBC. Some of them are football only. The Big Ten, for example, I think the Mountain West was football only. Some are saying football and basketball. If you've signed any kind of professional contract, you cannot return, and the penalties are pretty stiff. You'd worked, are the chairman of the board of directors for the American Conference. What are the discussions like in the American? And as we're talking right now, has anything been put forward to make a similar stance in the American to disallow this? Is it being discussed? What can you tell us?
Well, if you had asked me almost 6 years ago, Patrick, when I started this role as Chancellor of ECU, if I would be having a conversation with you on the radio about professional athletes returning back to college, I would tell you that that was not a possibility and that conversation would never happen. But the world has changed so dramatically, and with litigation and policy changes and various activity at the state and federal level, it feels like the wheels have come off in some instances, and all things are on the table. I can tell you with a high degree of certainty that I am personally, as the leader of ECU, not in favor of this happening in college sports, and all of my colleagues in the American Conference share that perspective. We are unanimously in alignment against bringing back professional athletes into the college sports environment. And we've had a lot of conversation as recently as this past week with the presidents on our board within the conference, and we're all in the same position. But we also believe that just reacting very quickly in the public space is something that we need to be thoughtful about. And so we're working directly with our commissioner, and we're spending a considerable amount of time being very intentional about developing a conference policy on this topic. And for us, it's most important to get the policy right, take the time needed to do it. But I can tell you philosophically and from a conceptual standpoint, I expect the American to land where many of these others have already landed. Now, don't get me wrong. As a chancellor, it would be great to have some of our star athletes back on the field for ECU and back on the court. Would love to put Siobhan Revel back out there this football season, or have Treya Savage on the mound for us. Trust me, that would be incredible. But for the integrity of the sport more broadly, I think we know what direction this is trending.
That was a good line. I have to give you that. Chancellor Philip Rogers with us here. When you look at the SEC, they believe that it is pretty airtight from the standpoint of any legal challenges. Is that maybe fair to say that's perhaps what the presidents and chancellors in the American want to make sure is vetted out? Does it survive any legal before they make a stance? Or are you kind of observing that, or is it just the pace at which sort of business is done, especially when you're so spread out across America?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I think we feel like it would be an airtight case, and there's not many topics where you get the SEC and the Big Ten and the ACC and the Big 12 and the American and the Mountain West all to agree, or much less two of those conferences to agree at one time. And when you see everybody begin to align around a certain perspective like this one, I think that signals the direction that this is going, to the fact that there's a level of confidence that we're trending in a generally right direction for opposing this.
Chancellor Philip Rogers with us here this afternoon on the Patrick Johnson Show. The NCAA 5-5, that kind of kicked all of this off, the 22 high school senior class. The feeling was, and of course you have J.D. Lampley, who has been involved in the program and is challenging as part of a lawsuit at the state level, former Pirate. But it was determined last week that those class of 22 high school seniors will not be allowed to come back for a fifth year if they've exercised all four. Then the federal court decision, obviously sort of solidifies that. There are challenges. There's so much out there, and this is so evolving. Kind of what was your stance from your position as a leadership or leader of the university, but also leadership of the directors with the conference on various NCAA boards that determined policy and considered these things? What were your thoughts on all of this and where it is going? And do you think we'll see possibility of some states allowing this and other states not allowing these athletes to return?
Yeah, it was a very interesting dynamic over the last couple of weeks, because John Gilbert and I spent a lot of time in conversation about how to navigate this space for ECU, and we spent a lot of time in deep conversation with our coaches as well on this very topic. And when you sit inside the room, like I've had the privilege of doing over the last couple of years, and will continue to do through my term, you can begin to read the tea leaves on what direction this is going. You have privileged conversations with attorneys that are literally in the heat of this legal battle day in and day out, and you can begin to see the direction that you anticipate things happening. And so I think the way that we navigated this space with our 7 student athletes who were a part of the class of 2022 was strategic and was appropriate, in that we took a step back and identified ways that perhaps we could begin to integrate them back into the life of the university without going too far to put us in a position of risk that would be damaging to the institution in a long run. Turns out the 10th Circuit overruled the 9th, and we had some clarity around this space. But I think you have to go back a lot further to understand how this concept developed in the first place, to know why we are where we are today. And sitting around the table with the Division I board, there a new governance model is in play. There's 2 of us that represent the Group of 6 at the FS level on that board. The remaining members are primarily weighted votes around the P4 conferences. And so it's Brian Sandoval, the president of the University of Nevada, Reno, former governor of Nevada, and I, who are sitting at the table working through these policy issues with other college presidents. And there was near unanimous agreement that it was important for Division I to move from this concept of having 4 seasons in 5 years with red shirts and waivers and all kinds of complicated dynamics that were frankly generating lawsuits and legal settlements from within our own membership that were then taking away the distribution dollars that should be coming back to ECU and other schools from the NCAA. And so something had to be done to begin to slow down the legal landscape. And so the 5 for 5 eligibility, continuous 5-year eligibility policy emerged. You all know the clock begins at the initial full-time college enrollment or through that age of 19 trigger. And the goal with it was to simplify the rule book. It was to, align athletics with the expectations of college sports and create roster certainty and things like that. And of course, I think in the short term, we're seeing some of the legal dynamics continue, like we saw with the injunction in the Ninth Circuit and the stay with the 10th, and now some of these broader state level suits that are coming into play. I think that's going to quiet down soon. We're keeping our eye on it, particularly with the one student athlete that could be impacted for us, and we'll continue to monitor it. We'll let the court system play out, and if they rule in his favor, then we'll see J.D. Lampley back on the field.
Chancellor Philip Rogers with us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. Next month, they return to Washington, D.C. Lawmakers do. It seems like that the Senate will take up the Save College Sports legislation, vote on it. Who knows what it'll look like, would then go back to the House, and then if it were to clear that hurdle, inevitably get to the president. Is this, would you paint this as it is that dire that Congress has to step in and that truly college athletics has to be saved through what they're doing because of just an inability to adequately govern itself at the moment?
Well, we would all like to believe in a state of play where college presidents and athletic directors and leaders in the intercollegiate athletic sports industry could come together with reasoned minds and put together a business model that we can all get behind and buy into, one that would prioritize the student athlete and make college sports continue to be the fan-fueled, exciting environment that we all grew up with and were a part of. The reality is that we haven't been able to do it, and I'm disheartened by that and disappointed by that. And I think the fact that we are at the moment where we are, where the complexities continue to become continue to have a financial impact and a legal impact. This is one of those moments where we do need Congress to step in, and especially at a time when the college sports world is changing faster than the actual rules that we have governing us, and working in collaboration with Congress. And I'll tell you, it really has been a collaborative effort with senior members of Congress and the White House to get this done, to replace a patchwork of court rulings and state laws and what we might call improvised policies at times with one comprehensive, consolidated national framework that goes on to protect athletes and restore some of the enforceable guardrails that ultimately will preserve the sport. And I think what I'm most energized about is that the American Conference and ECU have been at the table for these conversations.
Sure.
And, Tim Pernetti has been a part of the White House task force on college athletics. Just 2 days ago, a small group of us were on a call with Senator Ted Cruz talking about the many dynamics of this legislation. And then in just a couple of days, early next week, I'll be on another call with Senator Eric Schmidt from Missouri, along with the New York Yankees president, Randy Levine and interestingly Nick Saban to talk about these issues, because we're only a couple of weeks out from a vote, and happy to talk about the process and dynamics. But we are on the verge of one of the most consequential pieces of legislation in sports history, and it would be one that adds a lot of value to what we're trying to accomplish at ECU if we can get this thing passed.
What is the, I guess we talk about backup in sports all the time. The backup should be playing. We hear that all the time. But what is the backup plan should this somehow fall apart in Washington in a couple weeks?
Well, that's interesting. I asked Senator Cruz that very question, and his reaction in real time on a Zoom call to me was good question, but we feel like we have the momentum to get this thing moved in the right direction. And what we anticipate happening over the next couple of weeks is when they come back, there's one vote on a totally separate topic that is vote number one for the U.S. Senate. If that vote passes, that's going to push the Protect College Sports Act just a little bit, because they'll have some additional steps that will have to be taken with this first vote. Now, if that vote fails, then they'll go straight to the Protect College Sports Act to be considered on the Senate floor. And it sounds like from the leaders that I've spoken to that there's bipartisan momentum to get this thing done. And the goal is to not just come out of it with a winning vote, but is to come out of it with a significant winning vote, so that it has momentum going into the House. And we've communicated with both of our U.S. senators in North Carolina as recently as yesterday, who have been great conversation partners with us on this, and hopefully we'll be able to move to our House delegation as well. But I think there's great hope that this can happen. As a backup plan, the NCAA is, as you've already seen, been pursuing some of the elements of the Protect College Sports Act within its own governance authority. And so the 5-year eligibility rule, for example, is one that is included in the Protect College Sports Act, but that the NCAA took proactive initiative on. The challenge is that lawsuits can be filed against the NCAA. If Congress acts, we have a little more opportunity to solidify these rules and these policies in place so that we have reasonable transfer limitations, so that we can have practical tampering rules, and we could have an opportunity to reevaluate the Sports Broadcasting Act so that we can pull media rights together. That would be huge for ECU. And so, we have high hopes that it'll get over the finish line, but if not, we're going to continue to evaluate the policies at the NCAA and other places so that we can begin to ensure we have a robust infrastructure to keep college sports the way it should be.
Hey, good stuff there. All right, we're going to pause. Dr. Philip Rogers, Chancellor of East Carolina University, is with us. More with Chancellor Rogers on this Patrick Johnson Show Friday, right after this timeout.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Visit Larry's Steakhouse for a tender, hand-cut certified Angus ribeye. Other entrees include perfectly seasoned pork chops, chicken or seafood favorites like shrimp, tuna, and salmon. Complement your meal with Larry's fresh 20-plus item salad bar, or enjoy it as an all-you-can-eat entree. Daily rotating favorites include meatloaf, chicken pastry, hamburger steak, spaghetti, pork chops, and more, all complemented with your favorite country sides. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, or our Sunday brunch, remember to support and eat local. Larry's Steakhouse.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Your future is full of possibilities, and Pitt Community College can help you explore every option. You can earn a degree, learn a trade, transfer to a university, or launch a new career. We offer the support you need to succeed with flexible schedules, affordable tuition, and programs designed for the real world. Your path, your future, your college. Pitt Community College. Register now.
Listen up. He's talking now.
Sorry, thought we were vibing.
The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
East Carolina University Chancellor Philip Rogers is our guest today on the Patrick Johnson Show. We appreciate him taking time with us to discuss college athletics, but also we want to get to what's going on with the university as a whole. A couple of quick questions before we get there, Chancellor Rogers. Where do you see ECU currently in this landscape from an athletic standpoint, and also within the American as it's constituted? Because there are brethren institutions in the conference who have, made a commitment of tens of millions of dollars to player acquisition budgets, for example. So, where do you see East Carolina kind of hanging in there right now, given this landscape?
Well, I think we're in a extremely competitive position. We have made what I think are thoughtful commitments to revenue share and to continuing to attract players that can help us be as competitive as possible. From a fundraising standpoint, our Pirate Club is one of the top philanthropic arms of the American Conference, and our donors have stepped up in ways that have really put us in a position to be as competitive as possible. And now's the time to do that. We can't wait until the last minute when the disruption occurs across various other conferences. We have to begin preparing now from a revenue generation standpoint. We have to, number one, be attractive on the field, be as good as we can be, and continue to position ourselves as strong as possible. And position the conference as strong as possible. I really think that we have separated ourselves as a conference from the other G6 organizations, primarily because of the work that Tim Pernetti has done. And, we brought him in a couple of years ago, and he has really elevated the work of the American Conference in a modern and contemporary way to prioritize revenue generation and really help our schools, operate in a new reality that's extremely competitive and is changing every aspect of our industry.
There are many athletic departments that come out and through reporting, through their own admission, being asked about it. I mean, they will come out and say we are squarely in the red. How do you balance, and what's the charge perhaps you've given John Gilbert and others in athletic leadership to balance keeping the books balanced, but also, as you say, remaining competitive.
Yeah, well, it is a careful balance, and as you say, there's probably only 15 to 20. That's an estimate. College athletics programs in America that are generating more revenues than expenses.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have to be thoughtful about who we are and what type of institution we are and what we can invest in. And we want to be as aggressive as we can on that front, not only because that helps us win on the football field or on the baseball or softball or soccer or basketball, you name it, in our Olympic sports, but it also provides, college athletics provides extraordinary visibility and marketing capabilities for East Carolina University more broadly to support our enrollment and to support our brand. And so, I think about the investment in athletics as being more than about the product we put on the field. I think about it being about influencing and shaping the product of the broader university. When we played a Thursday night game against NC State last year, we had 1 million plus eyeballs on us across the country on ESPN. The value that athletics brings to East Carolina University makes the additional investment that we make from the institutional side a positive and strong one for us. And so that's my philosophy and how I think about it, and why we're going to continue to make ECU athletics a priority in this landscape.
Chancellor, will you be able to go next week when the season opens at Alabama? You plan on being there?
I'm hearing that we have a great group of Pirate Club leaders and members that are going to be heading down that way with lots and lots of tickets. And I made it to the Michigan game at the early start of the school year. The calendar is such that I won't be in Alabama, but we're planning to hit a lot of other away games this year. And I'm hoping that maybe on this call that I have next week with Senator Schmidt and Nick Saban that early shots at Coach Saban to let him know the Pirates are coming to town into Tuscaloosa sooner rather than later. We'll see how he likes that.
Let's talk about the university as a whole. The start of the new academic year. I think we're getting close to the point where you'll have kind of solid enrollment numbers. How is the overall health from an academic standpoint of East Carolina?
Well, I was just speaking to a crowd of nearly 700 people yesterday at our annual University Day event on campus, and a great opportunity to celebrate the wins for the past year, but also to think about the vision for the future and to sort of lay out the strategy for the university community on where we are and where we want to be. And I'm really encouraged by the fact that at a time where we see the public's trust and confidence in higher education at the national level dwindling and decreasing dramatically, and over the last decade we've seen more than a 20 percentage point decline in the public's trust broadly in the higher education industry. And the data and the evidence that I look at ECU suggests that we are a counter to that trend. And we had one of the strongest legislative sessions in recent memory for ECU, over $200 million in new investment to our institution for our Chancellor Scholars Program and rural health in Martin County and Beaufort County through ECU Health, and capital infrastructure for the Brody School of Medicine. And so we feel like we have strong partners in the General Assembly that understand the value we provide. Our fundraising numbers, we raised almost $80 million last year across the university, the largest year of fundraising outside of a comprehensive campaign. And when I started this role back in 2021, we were raising about $50 million a year on average. And so to come out with $100 million year a few years ago, and now an $80 million year this year, I think speaks to the fact that our donor base and the people who support us really believe in what ECU is trying to do. And then, in the midst of major headwinds with new federal policies in the research space, we're going to bring in nearly $80 million in research this year. And with a strong Research One modern public university footprint, we're very well positioned for the future. And And we're keeping our eye on the enrollment front. I'll know more about that next week. Today is Census Day at 5 o'clock, and we'll get the final numbers over the weekend. So we're hopeful for good news there, too.
What are some of the things that you've kind of pushed along and are continuing to push along for distance ed and remote learning, as it were, that sort of thing? I know that's been something you've really kind of worked on in making the university a distance education leader. What are some of the latest things as far as progress in that space?
Well, great question. And without a doubt, online learning is the fastest growing market segment in higher education right now, particularly adult learners who might have some college experience but stopped out for whatever reason, to get a job, to deal with a family situation, and want to come back and pursue their degree. I mean, that segment of higher education is growing dramatically faster than the traditional 18 to 22-year-old market. In fact, that 18 to 22-year-old market is shrinking right before our very eyes, and making the college admissions landscape even more competitive. And so we really have tried to lean in early in the online space. We launched a couple of years ago, really 2 years ago, programs in psychology. Interestingly, psychology is the most popular major in America. Mm-hmm. And so we tried to get ahead of that, and we launched a psychology program. We launched one in cybersecurity technology, one in security studies focused on the military and intelligence communities. And now we're looking at a couple of others, perhaps in the healthcare space, hospitality management, and then we've got 6 career-based certificates that are launching here in the near future. We are, without a doubt, the fastest-growing online institution in North Carolina. We have over 1,000 students in these new online programs starting this fall. And we're anticipating 700, so we overshot our goal by more than 300 students. And this is a space where we're going to have to be very aggressive in. It generates more unrestricted revenue that we can then reallocate to other parts of the institution that are mission aligned. And so I anticipate it both being an area where we will be able to serve the state's needs and generate revenue alternatively to support our operation.
Chancellor Rogers, thank you very much. We really appreciate the time, and look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Well, I always love spending time with you, Patrick. I hope you'll save me a seat at one of our pregame football tailgate events. I'll come and sit with you. We'll give you my predictions on the season and all those things. But I'm really enthusiastic about what Coach Harrell's done with ECU football. Looking forward to being out there against App State. I think we're going to have a great crowd, and looking forward to an exciting year of ECU sports.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chancellor. Chancellor Philip Rogers here on the Patrick Johnson Show today. We'll go through some programming notes for you and more when we come back.
It's the Find, Save, Drive sales event at Greenville Toyota. Find a huge Toyota selection at big savings. Then drive Tacomas, $249 a month, and Tundras, $399 a month. Now find, save, drive today. Only at Greenville Toyota.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's cut in color, and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Visit Larry's Steakhouse for a tender, hand-cut certified Angus ribeye. Other entrees include perfectly seasoned pork chops, chicken, or seafood favorites like shrimp, tuna, and salmon. Complement your meal with Larry's fresh 20-plus item salad bar, or enjoy it as an all-you-can-eat entree. Daily rotating favorites include meatloaf, chicken pastry, hamburger steak, spaghetti, pork chops, and more, all complemented with your favorite country sides. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, or our Sunday brunch, remember to support and eat local. Larry's Steakhouse.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Find, save, drive at Greenville Toyota. Find a huge selection. Save with low payments. Drive fuel-efficient and hybrid models like Camrys, $219 a month, and RAV4s, $269 a month during the Find, Save, Drive sales event at Greenville Toyota.
At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
And now, the stunning conclusion. Why is everyone screaming? On 94.3 The Game.
ECU volleyball at home tonight at 7 o'clock against Bethune-Cookman, who's already played today in the Pirate Invitational multi-team event that they're hosting. So Bethune-Cookman was swept today by Hampton, Dom. And Hampton, you say, okay, what's the big deal? Hampton had won one out of their last 76 matches coming in, and they get a sweep today. That's why you got to love sports. You never know what's going to happen.
That's the best, man.
Yeah. Rose football tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on 94.3 The Game and the IBX Media app, as the Rampants will be taking on the Pam Pack. They'll look to go to 2-0. And I'm just going to go ahead and announce it. We're scheduled to have the kickoff edition of Inside Pirate Athletics for you on Monday.
Yes, sir.
At noon.
I'll be producing it back here.
Okay. Noon for Inside Pirate Athletics this week.
New thing.
Really big thing. Details to come. All right. Thanks to Thomas for his work behind the scenes. Thanks to Dom Kasolki. And we appreciate Chancellor being on with us here. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody.